All right, the Philadelphia Eagles are on the clock. We're recording this for YouTube's final pick. This is going to be going up as a live reaction. Right now, there's still 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go for the Eagles pick. I'm looking, they're showing the draft room right now. And it looked like Sean Desai, the defensive coordinator, was the most excited. So I think it's going to be someone on the defensive side of the ball. Both Brian Branch and Nolan Smith are available. I'm talking about this in chat. I feel like you go Nolan Smith here, and it gives you the optimism that, like, how he's working on Budda Baker at safety. There's a reason why he didn't go Brian Branch here. Is because he thinks that that's going to be the safety of this Eagles team for the future. So you go Nolan Smith here, a guy that, some people had him potentially going at 10 to the Philadelphia Eagles. He comes in right away. You can play him both with Hassan Riddick. I think there's ability there to develop into like a linebacker, not just an edge rusher, because the athletic ability is so absurd. But ultimately, he's going to be the depth behind Hassan Riddick in that role as a pass rusher from that role. And he's incredibly unique in terms of like Swiss Army knife. I think he could develop into for this defense. But then also in the same vein, I think this should be Nolan Smith. If it's Brian Branch, Brian Branch is my number 9 player in this year's draft class. He's going to be instantly a Chauncey Gardner-Johnson on a rookie deal. I wouldn't be mad at it whatsoever. And he'd start. He would be a day one starter. Nolan Smith would come in as a rotational guy, as a depth guy, unless they get really creative with him with a linebacker to get him some reps with a Kobe Dean. Maybe they do that. But I think, if they, and that's still the player I think has the more upside at this point. But and you pair that with the Budda Baker hopes and dreams, and hopefully no nightmares on that. But if you go Brian Branch, it's a day one starter. We're getting a guy that is going to be penciled in as a starting safety at pick 30, at the tail end of the draft. A guy that most people, he's the guy that's falling right now. He's the guy that everyone's like, when is he going to get drafted? Because they have him as like a top 30 player, top 15 player, top 20 player. So let's see what happens here for the Philadelphia Eagles. They're making us wait. Come on, man. Jalen Carter and Brian Branch. Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith. Let's be a little bit of a negative Eagles fan. Who would I hate at this point? Guys that I would hate? There's not really any. I'd be underwhelmed with an offensive line pick right now. You could go Cyrus Torrance. You could go Steve Avila. You could go DeJuan Jones. You could go, Cody Mock. Lyman would be annoying. I think Keely Ringo, Adebaware would be an annoying pick. Nolan Smith, Brian Branch, either one of those would be awesome. My prediction, my hope, 1A of that 1A, 1B is Nolan Smith. Who the hell are these guys? It's Kelsey's mom. And I don't know who these other 3 people are. Some guy's holding like a big, what is that, a plate? Man, what are these guys? They got fancy microphones, like the ones that like you look like you're working a drive-thru. Dude Perfect. They went with Dude Perfect over me for the YouTube quota for announcing the Eagles selection. This is so dumb. This is it. They're having like Dude Perfect do a coin flip with Travis Kelce on one side, Jason Kelce on the other. And yeah, for sure dumb. This is something that came up by somebody that has no ties to football. They don't care about football. And they just thought this would be an awesome segment. And couldn't be any worse. So the Philadelphia Eagles at pick 30 make the announcement. I'm not looking at the screen. I saw it pop up. Nolan Smith! Let's go! We are the Georgia Bulldog. Hey, you know what? Let's just take the greatest defense of all time in college and just keep drafting all their players. Nolan Smith, my number 12 player in the draft. A guy that, developmental for sure, right? I don't know when, where, how he sees the field as a rookie for the Philadelphia Eagles. But the upside, the high ceiling is absolutely ridiculous. His pro comp is Hassan Riddick. He's going to be the depth behind Hassan Riddick. He's going to play with Hassan Riddick. You could use this guy utilize him for his pursuit. Just a ridiculous athlete, man. 5-star recruit. I love it, man. That is not a lot of production. If you're going to look at a knock, not a lot of production. Doesn't have elite length. 6'2", 230, 240. And just obviously it's Georgia. You know, Georgia's one of those teams that's it's tough to get a lot of projection for how much they rotate. What happens when your entire depth chart is 5-star type players? But what a draft for the Philadelphia Eagles. If I told you yesterday Philadelphia is getting Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith, you'd be like, how many first-round picks did we give up in future years to land that type of draft haul? That's awesome, man. I honestly just want how are they going to utilize him. I almost feel like it's not fair just to assume that he's going to come in as the backup Sam linebacker with Hassan Riddick. You got to find a way to get this guy on the field. I think they will find a way to get this guy on the field. Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean. Wouldn't be surprised if we end up Keely Ringo at some point tomorrow. I love it. And what this also says to me, for the people that were very much screaming, pounding the table, this needed to be Brian Branch. Brian Branch would have been also an excellent selection. Like, this is A+ for Philadelphia. Brian Branch would have been an A+ for the Philadelphia. Brian Branch would have started next season as a rookie for the Philadelphia Eagles. But until he's drafted, he could still be an Eagle. Philly could trade up, try to be aggressive and get him. But I would like to think, optimistically, maybe because we've had our salads here tonight, that the Nolan Smith selection here was because Howie Roseman was like, I'm good. I think I know what I'm going to do to fix our safety room. I think there's a certain unhappy safety in Arizona named Budda Baker who would love to be in Philadelphia, and that's what he's going to work on. So, like, that's the blind faith that I'm hoping, that Philly is going to finish this draft like we had last year with Jordan Davis and A.J. Brown. We're going to finish this draft day 1, day 2, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Budda freaking Baker. We got the Kansas City Chiefs next up on the clock, but absolute home run. Eagle fans out there, how do you feel? What do you grade in this draft? I know that I got a lot of people in chat right now watching this that aren't going to be Eagles fans. They're unbiased, and even they're saying, the rich get richer. How did the rest of the NFL allow these types of players to become available to the Philadelphia Eagles? I'm biased, and I'm giving these both A+. These are both players that I would have been happy with at the end of the day at pick 10, and we're able to get both of them and, didn't have to give up and sacrifice big-time future assets to make sure that we attain these two players. And also, at the tail of that, what do you think about the scenario? Would you want to trade up for Brian Branch tomorrow if he falls past the Kansas City Chiefs here at pick 31? Are you going to buy into the fact and just manifest in your brain that a Budda Baker trade is going to happen between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Arizona Cardinals? Because there is definitely some smoke and some connection right there. So hopefully Jonathan Gannon puts in a good word and actually gets that trade through, because that would be absolutely absurd. But I am so stoked to add 2 Georgia defenders to the Eagles. Outstanding draft from Howie Roseman again. Building back on that faith. That's been the knock on Howie Roseman, right? Can't draft. He's on a hot streak, man. An absolute heater. 3 drafts in a row. I think he's done an outstanding job. Let's do it, man. Let me know how you guys think about it in the comment section below. As always, all that good stuff. Like, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. See you tomorrow. More picks.